Hey, being a salesperson, I do. Well, in this video, you're going to learn how to sell anything without sounding like a salesperson. And I'm going to show you how. We're going to go over techniques, tips, and examples without sounding too salesy. Stick to the end because I'll give you a walkthrough on how a normal sales conversation can go like. Now let's go over a sales use case. Here's a real life example. Let's say you're selling preserved flour. The way to preserve flowers is by using gelatin. Now, preserved flowers are not real flowers and they're not the fake flowers that are made of textile and plastic. So you have a company in New York City in Manhattan, and by the way, this is a real example. My friend owns a floral company and this is her business problem that we're going over today. So why go for preserved flowers? Well, they're cheaper than the real flowers. And how did she find this out? Well, one of her first clients was Ralph Lauren, and Ralph Lauren, for one of their flagship stores in Manhattan, wanted to solve a cost problem. Now, real flowers were too expensive, so they wanted to hire my friend purchase flowers that looked real and they looked much better than the fake ones because those are plastic and ugly and made of textiles and nobody likes those. She did a great job and now she wants referrals. How does she get referrals? And let's say Ralph Lauren does not give her referrals. Of course, ideal situation, you want Ralph Lauren to rave about her work, but she's small, she's a startup. Ralph Lauren works with major customers, other brands. She's trying to get a head start. How can she capitalize on this opportunity? Fortunately, she found out that where Ralph Lauren is located, there are other stores nearby that don't want to spend a lot of money for flowers. How can she find out who her next customer is going to be? Can you take a guess? Well, what she can do is to walk door to door the old way. So she'll walk into the store, introduce herself, but this is where most companies go wrong. They start selling their services without identifying what the problem is. Now remember, you have to understand two things when you're doing sales. You have to understand how to solve somebody's problem, and you want to understand what motivates that person. So then how do you find out all these questions? Let's say you're not a journalist like me and you don't really know how to approach people, or you're an introvert, or maybe you just don't have experience. How do you ask those questions to find out the motivation of someone? Because if they're not motivated, they're not going to have a budget for it. Whether or not they have a budget is sort of irrelevant. You need to find out what the motivation is. How much is there a need for them to buy preserved flowers versus real flowers versus fake flowers, or no flowers at all? Instead of saying, hi, my name is Anna, I have a company that sells preserved flowers, would you be interested in my service? You could try something like this. I noticed you don't have any flowers in the display windows. Is there a reason for that? Have you taken them down or are you replacing them? You're trying to get information. What are your thoughts about having flowers in the store? Let's say they tell you, oh, well, we are looking for a florist. We just got rid of the flowers in general. You want to keep asking why, and then you want to ask them, what are your thoughts about having preserved flowers instead of real flowers? Now, if there's a cost problem, then you can pitch them preserved flowers and mention, what are your thoughts about having preserved flowers, and then educating them on that before saying, I sell preserved flowers. You want to understand their objection, and that's the biggest opportunity for you, because in the problem or the objection, there is that opportunity to make a sale. So let's say they say, we don't carry the flowers anymore. Again, you want to ask them why not. You're trying to understand what made them stop purchasing flowers in general. I mean, in general, you want to understand how they feel about flowers, if flowers are part of the aesthetic look and feel of the place, or if it's just a nice to have because Ralph Lauren has it. Like I said, a good salesperson figures out the motivation of the person that they're trying to sell to. Also, a good salesperson has an authentic conversation to get to know the customer. You're trying to profile the customer and understand what it is that they want and what it is that they need. A want and a need are two separate things. I want flowers and I need flowers. Ralph Lauren was, I need flowers because right now real flowers are expensive. I need an alternative solution. That is great. If you have that type of customer, you're golden, but sometimes you just have to dig a little deeper. Now, my friend who sells these flowers, she asked me, how do you approach people? Well, the biggest misstep that people take is they approach someone and automatically sell them services. The first thing you do when you approach someone is please smile. Smile. I mean, if I'm smiling in these videos, I'm sure you like these videos a lot more. It's just a lot more appealing because when we smile, there's a dopamine and serotonin release in our brain, and all these chemicals just make us happier. So just try smiling. Even if you don't like smiling, just try. Second, you want to compliment the person or the environment. So you want to say, oh, I like your suit. I like the look and feel of this store. Or maybe I like the way that you arrange the furniture. I love the brand. I love the products. Next, you always want to be curious. You want to inquire about the products and services and the person that you're talking to. You're just curious, and it won't put anybody on the defense. People know that you're genuinely interested. They won't feel threatened. Remember, just pretend, or actually if you are curious, just go with that. Being curious is a beautiful trait. It's something we forget. When we were children, we were curious and we loved to play and ask questions, and we made friends that way. Don't you remember that? When you're in the stage of discovering what the customer wants and needs, don't sell your services. And even if you do sell your services by accident, or if they really want to know why you're asking and you disclose to them that you own a floral company, don't list the price first. Don't send them a price sheet. Don't send them a contract, because it's wasting your time. You just want to ask, if I could be the solution to your problem, how much would you pay for it? You want to know what their budget is, and you want to know if they want to spend the money now or in the future, because you want to save time. My friend actually initially struggled with coming up to store owners. She struggled with selling her services because she's an introvert. She also is not salesy. She feels weird when she's trying to sell something. It's not natural for her. So I told her, just pretend you're talking to someone and you're curious and you're their friend. Don't think about the sale. Don't think about anything. You're just trying to figure out the information first. This is another thing to think about. When you get to the point, let's say you've had that initial meeting, and let's say that you go home, you think about what you said and what you could have done better. And let's say there is another meeting with the manager. Now, this could happen in the first or second meeting. What's really important is to just take out your phone and show them quickly pictures. Like, so if you did a job for Ralph Lauren and you get to the point that you're talking about your product and service, show them the pictures and just be like casually, like, hey, I just did this job at Ralph Lauren. Brands speak volumes, especially also if you have a testimonial from Ralph Lauren, like a text message or email, it's even better, but pictures are enough. So you want to be proud of your work and be like, hey, is this something that would fit in your store? Could you see yourself having this sort of floral arrangement? Questions drive the cognition, and you start brainstorming, and now all of a sudden you're playing and you're having this collaborative experience that doesn't feel like you're trying to pitch or sell anything. So you showcase your work. That's why you're doing business, because you are proud of the clients that you have. When you're at the stage of you're actually talking about your services and products, sound enthusiastic and like you're really proud of your customers. Highlight them. Be the driver of your destiny, of your vision. You are the CEO. You're the person who's selling your vision. The products don't just sell. It's the story that sells. It's your presentation. There's a lot of things that go into sales. Remember, when you go into an interview, the first impression counts. It's what you say, how you dress, how you act, the energy that you have. Are you confident? Are you nervous? Just relax. So the last crucial part of the sales process is that if you are talking about the payment. Now, I've mentioned before, don't start talking about the payment. Get to know the customer, what their motivations are and objections. Now, if you do come to the point where you're talking about the contract, a lot of stores, when you're selling B2B, they're going to ask for a proposal, a price sheet, and all that. You ideally want to create another email account in your company, an admin at the company name, and have an admin or an assistant send them an email, because you sound more important. And that assistant could be makeup name or your middle name that's pretending to be the assistant. If you're Anna and Jennifer is your middle name, send an email. Here's the price sheet from Jennifer's account, which is the admin at the company's name. This way, it just sounds like you are not a solopreneur. There is a value in fake it till you make it. You need to envision that you have this business. Money's energy. Money is just a means of exchange. It's a value. It's an energy. Sales is really about building a relationship. When you think of sales as getting to know someone, dating them, asking those questions, building a relationship, you connect with energy, you connect with values, you connect with authenticity. So figure out what that person really needs and wants, and help them out. If they really have a problem, they need an alternative, a cost-effective solution, you are that solution. Now, let's say they're not interested in flowers. You can ask, who do you know that will be interested? Can you refer someone? Because maybe they really enjoyed that conversation for an hour and they would love to refer you business, which is awesome. And in the next video, it's going to come with complete questions that you can ask to better understand how to discover those objections and figure out if you are a solution. An objection or a no is another way of, I don't understand, help me understand further. A no is just an invitation to a yes, but you need to go through those steps and ask a lot more questions. Don't be shy, you got this. And in case you're interested for more business advice, make sure to check out my book, You Screwed Up. I have it available on Amazon in multiple languages. Top interviews of business leaders and lessons learned from their failures and successes. This book is compiled of 89 chapters complete with lessons learned from entrepreneurs that I've interviewed throughout my years as a business owner. And I started in the tech industry, and then I moved my way into personal development, and now I'm on YouTube. And what's really cool is that these chapters are super short, only 2 pages. I cover sales, negotiations, contracts, and everything that you need to know about startups. The book is fictionalized because to protect the identities of the individuals I interviewed. So these are real cases, but I changed the names of locations, the people, and the companies. So make sure to check it out. It's available on Amazon. I'll drop a link in the description. I want to read this quote by Sarah Blakely. She's the founder of a company called Spanx. Most of us want to tell our coworkers or friends or husbands or wives our ideas. For what reason? We want validation, but I feel ideas are most vulnerable in their infancy. Out of love and concern, friends and family give all the reasons or objections on why you shouldn't do it. I didn't want to risk that. Failures are a life's way of nudging you and letting you know you are off course. Trying new things and not being afraid to fail along the way are more important than what you learn in school. And as always, do the best that you can every day.